this all come from? How did you start?
So I was really, really young when I started Caxi, and I had just gotten married. My husband and I were living in Orem, very close to Linden, which I love. Which we love. And I was currently going to school and working a full-time job at Fawn Design, if you've ever heard of Fawn Design, if you know Jenny. And she had hired me. Ironically enough, my sister and I were trying to make some side money just on the side. And we decided that dressing up as Elsa and Anna and doing like little girls' birthday parties would be like an awesome way to make like $100 in an hour.
Oh,
okay.
yes.
Well, and you can be a Disney princess.
Thank you.
You
That's
really
very nice
can.
of you.
Like,
no, maybe back in the day.
Yeah. No, I'm like, okay, I'm
No.
going to hire you for my
But
kids'
no,
birthday party.
I'm sorry, I've retired.
Oh,
I've since
shoot.
retired.
Okay.
Elsa,
Down real
yeah,
quick.
yeah,
Okay.
that has since closed, unfortunately. But we also had my sister and I. She was 17 or 18 at the time, but we had a little sister that was like 4, and she was super into Frozen. She had all of the Frozen everything. My mom bought us costumes to like please her. Like we had everything. We literally, it was like a $0 investment to go into this princess
Yes,
business.
I love it.
Right. So we decided to start doing these princess parties. Jenny, from a friend of a friend, gets recommended to us. She hires us for her little girl's birthday party. We show up, we do our little spiel, we do, the whole 9 yards. We're singing, we're dancing, we're giving all the little girls things. And after, she like takes us outside to pay us, and I realize who she is, right? I know you, I love your bags, I follow you, I think you're so
Right.
amazing. And I kind of word vomit all of this, right? And I was working a job that I didn't love. I was working like an inside sales job for a local company that I worked in like a basement, and I hated it, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I, on the spot, was just like, I am like, are you hiring? Like, I love you so much. Word vomit. Are you hiring? And she just was like, actually, I kind of like need a nanny. Like my nanny's kind of like in between. So like, can you help? Like you seem to be good with kids, you know?
You just performed.
Yeah,
like,
if you can perform for my child, like, yeah, if Elsa will come nanny my kids, they'll love it, you know?
That would be it. Yeah.
And
that's gonna be
so,
extra.
exactly, yeah. I'm like, that is extra, yeah, that's extra for us singing a dance, you know? Anyways, and so she hired me right on the spot. And I kind of came in and started doing nanny work for her. And then eventually she started giving me some like personal assistant stuff. And then I transitioned into the company versus her nanny full time. And that was at a really fun stage in her business where it was that grind that we were kind of talking about
Yeah.
earlier. She was there's probably 6 or 7 of us, but really only 3 of us in office full time.
So you were there with her in the early stages.
Yeah, I
and
would say.
helping her kind
Uh-huh.
of figure out in the trenches of
Yeah.
really great learnings
For sure.
probably for you there.
Super great. Yeah. And
Yeah?
she was pretty well established. Like I was, especially knowing what I know now and what it takes to grow a business to the level that she was at, the fact that like she had built it with the few people that she had before I was even there to where it was at. Like I just came in thinking that was normal. And now I look back and I'm like, that wasn't normal. Like you were on a next level kind of robot,
Amazing.
something,
Yeah.
you know? And so anyways, but yes, I was there during a really, really fun time in the business when it was just growing. It was right before she had decided to hire executives. So it was kind of just in that really early stage. And I just got a really good taste firsthand of what entrepreneurship was, what it entailed, the lifestyle, the everything. And I just began to kind of crave it a little bit. And so flash forward a couple years, I worked for her for a couple years. I decided to start something of my own, and I had this random idea walking through, a Walmart, and I had this desire, right, of like, I want to do something, but like, what do you do? And I think that that's where a lot of people that's like their stopping point. It's
Right.
like, I would love to be an entrepreneur. I would love to start a business, but
Everything's already done.
everything's already done.
What am I
you
gonna
know?
do?
Like,
Yeah.
I can't
That
create
trap.
AI. I can't create tech. I can't create,
Yes.
something innovative that's never been done.
Right.
I'm just a 21-year-old girl that like loves clothes and loves fashion and loves like, what am I gonna do? And I was walking through like a Walmart, and I had like been through a Target, and I had been through a couple other just like big retail box stores, and I had always loved like hair accessories, everything hair I loved.
Yes.
Not enough to go into hair school. Scalps kind of gross me out, but like
that's
hair,
interesting, Lex.
hair.
was a
I
good
loved hair.
tidbit
Okay.
on Lexi.
Yeah, I like taught myself
Yeah.
how to braid, and like I was braiding I was the neighborhood braider. I was like,
I love
I just
this.
loved hair. I love tutorials. I love all the things. And so,
Okay.
I kind of had this epiphany in the middle of a Walmart, that there's not a lot of women's hair accessories. Like I would always visit the accessory aisle. Okay. I would spend all my money in the accessory aisle from the time I was little. Even at Claire's was my favorite place to go. And, I just kind of had this like really instant epiphany that like there is so much stuff for little girls. Yeah. There's so many little bows. There's so many little elastics. There's so many little headbands, but there's not a lot of stuff for women. And so
there's a certain age where you can't walk into Claire's anymore. Maybe.
Yeah. It's the worst day of my life.
And then you go in and you're like, I can't pull that off. Not,
that was the worst day of my life when I walked out with no purchases. Like, I'm too old for this. Like, where am I going to go?
And it's true, coming from someone with a daughter, it's like, the bows and the so many fun things that are just, you know, cute and feminine. And where does that go as a grown up?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there are some brands, especially as of recently, that have really picked up in that category, especially as the trend of hair accessories has come back. But there for a while, there was a couple hair ties or some bobby pins, you know, maybe you would find like a cute hair scarf. Maybe you would find a claw. Like it was very few and far between. And so I went home that night and my husband and I it was actually the next day was my birthday and he had all of these things planned and I was like, thank you so much, but I just want to go to Joann's. And he was like, you don't want to go to Ruth's Chris? I'm like, no, I just want to go to Joann's, you know? He's like, okay, it's your birthday. So we like bought a sewing machine off Facebook Marketplace, spent my birthday at Joann's going down the fabric aisle. And he was probably like, she's gone crazy. Like, this is what is happening, you know? And I just entered this world where I suddenly just kind of knew like this is my idea. Like this is what I don't even just want it for myself, but like I know that there's other people that would want this.
Yeah. That was your epiphany of just like, okay, here we go.
Like I'm going to try it at least, right? And so I bought a bunch of fabric, spent literally all night long, stayed up all night long watching YouTube tutorials of like how to sew and like trying to like work this like old sewing machine that I had bought from some person for $20 in a parking lot. I love that. Kind of taught myself how to sew and decided to come up with like, if I had a perfect hair scarf, what would it be? Right. And so I tried a bajillion different cuts and different, I don't know, fabrics and things like that. And I finally came up with like my perfect hair scarf because I love to wear hair scarves.
Right.
And so I came up with my perfect hair scarf and then I had all these scraps and then I'm like, what am I going to do with all these scraps? And then it was like how to sew a scrunchie. And then I decided like, I can make a scrunchie off of my scraps and I can make this out of this. And you know, so for a couple weeks, I just was enthralled by this idea. It became like an obsession, if you will. And I decided if I was going to do it, like I was really, really going to do it. So I built a website. I taught myself how to build a website. I started an Instagram. Chase and I went out. We did a photo shoot. My husband, Chase.
Love it.
The whole 9 yards. And I just kind of was like, I have literally nothing to lose. So let's try it. You know? And so flash forward, we launched and we sold out of every piece. I think I had like 20 pieces, right? But that was like...
How long did it take you to make those 20 pieces? Figure out the process?
Hours and hours. But it probably was only a couple. From the time I had the idea to the time we launched was maybe a month, 2 months. Okay. Like I just was so like obsessed. Like literally when I say obsessed, it was like my husband was like, you need to eat. Like we need to let's clean the house, you know? And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like a crazy lady with my sewing machine. But I don't know. There was just something in me at such a young age that just wanted it. And I just had this just epiphany that like, I want to do this. I love this. This is something I could be so passionate about. And I'm so glad that I had this desire, this, you know, push that really pushed me to like go for it. And kind of not looking back. I say all the time, I'm always so impressed with people that start businesses later in life when you have maybe more to lose or less time because I had literally nothing to lose. We had no money in saving. Like I had nothing to lose, right? Yeah. I didn't have kids. I didn't really I had a full-time job. I was going to school, but really like there wasn't much I had to lose. And so it was balls to the walls. Like I don't really care if this fails because I'll just be back where I was, you know?
Put my vision down out into the world.
Okay. Yes. But later in life, even now, me as a mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, starting something new would be so much more intimidating than it was when I was young and dumb and 21 years old and had nothing, literally nothing to lose. And so I always say it's so impressive and just so admirable when people have a little bit more brain cells when they decide to start a business, unlike me.
I mean, I feel like the 2 month to like ideation, you figured out you have all these pieces to launch is amazing. Because
Thank you.
yes,
So
that is where
quick.
they kind of die a little bit. And I guess for some of our audience members, that moment of like launching, was there confidence that you had talked to a bunch of people? Like, had you kind of farmed out this idea a little bit? And how did you find people that, you know, were you advertising in other places? That moment to launching, I think this is what scares people away from the whole thing altogether.
Without a doubt. I think I was delusional, honestly. I had like, they say like delusional confidence. I will say there was a really intense moment of, I almost want to call it embarrassment a little bit of like, I'm embarrassed, maybe not embarrassment, apprehension maybe to put it out there and put my name on it of like, I'm starting this thing, and not even because I was apprehensive of my product or what I was doing or where I was going, but like if this fails, my name is attached to it, and that's what scared me, I think, a little bit. But I kind of just brushed it to the side, and that's one thing that I'm really grateful for being so young, is I kind of just had this like, I don't really care attitude too, right? I did have this moment of like, oh, like my name's to it, and if it fails, that's embarrassing, and I'm 4 years away from high school and I'm still thinking about like, what do people think of me, and you know, but at the same time, I kind of was just like, nobody else is doing this, so if I fail, oh well, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But the launch, I will say, I think a lot of people, looking back, spend almost too much time preparing for that launch, if I'm being so honest with you. I think
that paralysis by analysis piece of every decision, and is it good enough, and
is
how
it
do
perfect? Do I have a perfect feed? Do I have a perfect website? Do I have a perfect this? Is my product, is my packaging perfect? Is my this perfect? And honestly, those things are important. And I think that there's time and place. And kind of, we were talking earlier, right now it's a mess, and someday I'm going to get there to it. Someday I'm going to perfect my packaging. Someday I'm going to perfect my website. Someday I'm going to perfect this and this and this and my long list of to-dos. But for now, I'm going to get it out there, and I'm going to get people talking about it. I'm going to get people using it, and I'm going to do that as I go, right? And so
you had your MVP, right? You're like, okay, we are going to launch. This is good enough, and I'm good to go, and here's my MVP.
100%, yeah. And there's so much valuable feedback that comes after your product is out there that you're going to end up redoing things anyways. You're going to end up redoing your website anyways. You're going to end up redoing your product anyways. Like, all of these things will come as you're getting really valuable feedback from customers and consumers and market reports and all the things that you're analyzing. And so I don't know. I just think that sometimes people get really caught up in the perfectionism of things, and that's just something I didn't have. And it bites me in the butt sometimes, but for the most part, getting started with a business, it really came in handy, where I was kind of like, we're just going to slap it together. And I ordered a stamp from Vistaprint, and I'm going to stamp, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to figure out how to ship, and we're going to do it as we go. And so that was something that really blessed me early on in my business, that has bit me in the butt a couple times since, but we'll perfect it as we go.
I mean, we're going to pull those out of you, actually. I think, that's going to be fun. But, I mean, not skipping too far ahead, but tell me then, how many times have you rebranded? Because that would be interesting.
So many.
Okay.
Really? Yeah, we've done quite a few. And honestly, I had a designer. We're actually working kind of on one right now, if I'm being honest. But this is the first time we've hired a designer to really come in and rebrand. Since then, we've been so scrappy where I was like, how to use Adobe Illustrator, right? Like, I'm like, okay, today for my employee, I'm like, today all you're doing is Googling how to use Photoshop, okay? Yeah, and she's like, okay, I got it, you know? And so we hired a designer to come in and help us with this next project that we're working on. And she kind of sat me down, and she kind of was like, in the nicest way possible, you have gone against every marketing strategy and every marketing like rule that I've ever learned in school, kind of thing. And like, somehow you are more successful than brands that follow this status quo of marketing and recognizability when it comes to logos and this and that. Like, there's the cohesiveness is chaotic, I will say, in my brand. But honestly, I feel like that has attracted this massive group of women that don't love the perfect, that don't want to see the like perfectly curated Instagram bubbles and the perfectly curated photo shoots and the perfectly curated marketing campaign. And really, to them, we've become this like group of best friends, and like we're running a business, and like we want to show you the messy, we want to show you the behind the scenes, we're going to show you, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we're going to provide you with a really awesome product in the meantime.
Expand your team's skill set and drive conversions. Volcanic Retail University offers specialized courses to keep your brand ahead in the retail game. Go to university.volcanicretail.io and apply code podcast50 for 50% off.
And that has been, I guess, our strategy.
Just the mess.
It wasn't really
Show
planned,
the mess.
right? It was just kind of, it just kind of happened, right? And so this designer kind of sat down and told me that, and I kind of had this like a little bit of like offense, but at the same time, I was like, I don't really care, like, but it's working, so something is working, right?
You're that outlier, truly, that has like, you know what, worked hard enough, and it has really, really come to something so much bigger and something so cool. I think that's interesting. I've talked to so many brands, and they're like, we don't know how it worked. But we don't know. Yes, we don't know how it worked, but it worked. And it's so interesting to me because it's like, you know what? You just have to try.
Yeah.
You have to just keep the grind and keep going. So that's interesting. So rebranding again, right?
Yeah.
So
here we go.
What does your designer say for this time?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
She's great. She's been really like flexible with like, I need like a million colors because we use a lot of different colors, you know, and she's like, okay, sounds good, you know? But it'll be really fun, and I'm really excited to kind of have an established, like, here is our media kit. This is, you know, these are the colors that we use, you know?
Yeah.
But so far it's just really been scrappy, fun, kind of whatever comes to my brain that day or whatever comes to my team brain that day, we're going to do it and we're going to execute on it. And it's actually some of our most like from the hip ideas have been our best ideas and have made us a lot of money within the company. And so it's been so fun to watch those ideas literally go from kind of similar to the trajectory of like, I had this idea to I started to like, okay, we're going to throw a prom for 1,000 girls. We're going to rent the Capitol and we're just going to do it within 30 days. And my team's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, I know, but you guys down? And they're like, yeah, we're down, you know? And then it's just like, we do it and it happens and it's so fun and so magical and so from the hip. And we didn't have to jump through all these hoops of like departments and creative and marketing and I don't know, those things really are so important and I don't want to discredit them, but I think just doing it is more important than making it perfect, in my opinion.
I love that though. It's just almost ripping off that Band-Aid and going back to that paralysis by analysis of like, just, you can do it. Don't overthink it. Just 100% run. And you are a like shining light in that arena for sure, which is really, really cool.
Thank you.
I would love to know, truly some of the brands that are listening, how do we break into retail? You're in over 300 different boutiques.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of, from my perspective and what I do, a lot of work.
Yeah.
How did that happen from launch to, you know, and maybe we need to go back a little bit to launch.
I like it. I like it.
But how did that happen? How did you know that you needed to break into retail? All of those kinds of questions.
Yeah, I think when it came to the idea of us wholesaling, right, to bigger retailers, boutiques, salons, things like that, it really came from that core initial idea of like, you can't find this stuff. Like when, like there's not a single place. Like, yes, maybe if I go to Target, I'll stroll down an aisle and maybe there will be something. Or maybe if I walk into an Urban Outfitters, there might be something, right? But like, there's not really like, I know if I go here, I can get the hair ties I like, right? And so it came from that original idea of like, like there's just not really a designated brand for women that is not only functional and is going to hold my hair back and is going to hold all day and I have really thick hair and yada, 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 XYZ, but it's also cute and it's feminine and it's mature, or maybe it's really girly but it still is not like little girl bow, right? Like there just wasn't, in my opinion, that brand that had been like the brand, right? There wasn't the brand for hair accessories. And so we decided to kind of start looking for these wholesalers, and we started really locally. There's a local business called Produ Blow Dry Bar, and I remember probably a year into my business, my mom is their biggest customer. She goes every week for a blowout, and she will tell everyone about that. She loves them, right? And she was just chatting all the girls' ears off. And bless my mom's heart, she will tell. She's like, "This is my daughter Lexi, and she owns Caxi, and da da da. And here's one. Do you want it?" Out
Always
of her hair, you
biggest
know?
supporter.
Oh, she's the best. She's the best. But I'm like, Mom, stop giving people things out of your hair. Like, I will give you one to keep in your purse, and you can give them that one.
Oh, how
know?
sweet.
She will. The girl will be like, "I love your scrunchie," and she's like, "Here, do you want it?"
This goes back to her scalp thing. You know what I mean? This
maybe that's where I got
like,
it.
Mom, you don't realize
Literally,
the
I'm
scalp.
like, scalp health. Come on, scalp hygiene. Don't give someone that. Yeah.
No, but that's so so fun that like you realized from very, very quickly that just having products and like getting that hype, right? Of look, if you're talking about it, here's one. Try it out.
Yeah, and bless my mom's probably, I owe her 99% of my success.
That's great.
Just word of mouth, honestly.
Great.
But she was talking, you know, the stylist ears off about how I had started this hair accessory company and it would be so cute in here and yada, yada, yada. I think it got back to the owner. One of the girls had told the owner, you know, there's this local company and da, da, da. And she sent me an email one day that was like, hi, my name's Jen and I own Produce Blow Dry Bar and I would love to carry your stuff. And I literally peed my pants, right? Like I just was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of on, you know, in conversation with my husband and I, just like, how do we do this? Like, how do you even
What's that first?
How do you break that barrier?
Yeah.
Like, well, and you're actually an outlier here too. It's very rare that a buyer or an owner of a store reaches out to you first.
Yeah.
That's really, really unique.
Yeah.
Really cool.
For sure. And I had no idea the protocol. I had no idea what kind of margin. Like, what do I sell her?
What is wholesale?
Like, I had literally no idea. When I literally say no idea, I mean it. No idea. And so a lot of Googling, a lot of preparation for that meeting. And she was awesome. And she was kind of the first person that like took a chance on us and was like, yeah, I'll order, you know, 20 of each and I'll take this style and this style and this style. And I went home and was like, Chase, we're going to Chili's. Like this, like we've made it, you know, like it's not even like not even the 2 for $20, like whatever you want, baby. I got it, you know.
I'm going to get a drink and the shake, actually.
We'll take the guac this time, you know.
Love this.
And so she kind of took that first initial chance on me and I realized really quickly, like, oh my gosh, she's placing reorders all the time. This is awesome.
People are buying. The sell-through is awesome.
Yes.
We're having luck here.
Exactly. And so from there, we kind of did a lot of research, joined some online wholesale websites to kind of get our stuff out there. And we were getting orders every day from all over the country, which was awesome. And we just kind of decided to slowly start growing this program, kind of organically, very naturally. And then flash forward a couple years, we get a random cold email, I guess you could call it, from the buyer of Free People, who also had just seen one of our ads on Instagram, which was just like, kind of like you said, like very rare, very out of the blue. I thought it was a prank. Like I didn't believe that it was real.
Well, and this goes back to buyers are sourcing and finding their products on social media platforms.
Oh my
and
gosh,
there's nothing that they have.
Yeah.
That they can even get, like, what is wholesale, who carries your product, what are they?
Yeah.
So they're like, help. Like,
oh, for sure.
Can you tell us about your product, please?
Yeah.
Are you in stores? Like, I guarantee they were like, we love this.
Yes.
How do we get a hold of
1,000,000%. Yeah. And I think buyers are getting really creative on sourcing their products because the consumer is getting so sick of the same thing, right? And they're really having to fight for those sales at a really high scale. And so finding these, you know, small businesses and really creative designers and things like that are becoming more and more important to them. And so, like you said, social media is a place where they can go and search a hashtag and they can have a pool of 20 new buyers that their competitor maybe hasn't found yet. So
absolutely.
That was
but let's
really
circle
awesome.
back because I'm like, I want to hear this process. So Free People reached out to you.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Yeah, so we hopped on a call with them really immediately and kind of introduced ourselves, sent them a bunch of samples. They picked up a couple things to just test in stores. And this is where I will say that having not only building a business, but building a community is so important because, and if Free People, if you ever hear this never happened, but we launch on Free People on their website. Okay. They buy like 50 units, just to test. Okay. We launch, I get on my Instagram and I literally beg and plead on my theoretical hands and knees, like, if you have ever loved me, if you care about me as a person,
please,
like, will you go buy this product? Like, I will personally reimburse you. Like, will you go buy this product and leave a review? Because this could literally change our entire business. This could change everything, right? Because they are such a big buyer and such a reputable one as well. And we get an email a couple hours later from our buyer that was like, it's sold out. Like, we'd love to place another order, and this time we're gonna buy 300, right? And I just sobbed, just sobbed, right? Of just like gratitude, not only for, because I knew that like their organic sales were probably, they didn't sell out probably from just their organic sales, right? Like I knew that there were probably 50 people in my life that I know and that I love, and I'll literally cry thinking about it, that like didn't even think twice. Like, they hop on the website, they purchase the same scrunchie that they have, and they're, you know what I mean? Like,
they own it already.
They probably already own it. My mom bought 5. Like, it just was like such a really cool moment for me to be like so grateful for the people in my life in this community that I had built that were so immediately willing to just like hop on and do something that they had no idea what kind of difference that would make in my business, right? And so we got that reorder from them, and we've maintained a really awesome relationship since. And not to mention, I was literally getting that email as I was like at a 6 pushing my baby, like literally giving birth, you know?
What crazy
and that I was just like, Chase, I just got an email. He's like, hold still, you're getting your epidural, you know? And I'm like, ah! And the nurses are like, she's crazy, you know?
She's going to go break out her sewing machine.
And that's probably also why I was like emotional and crying and all the things. But it was just like a really awesome moment of like, we've got this and they like us, and this is going to be good. Like, I knew if we could get good reviews on their site, a good, you know, good traction, a good just like reputable relationship with them, that our stuff would sell, because I'm really confident in it. So that was awesome. And then since then, I feel like that's really opened some amazing doors for us of, you know, I feel like once you kind of have a big retailer, you kind of almost have it as leverage a little bit with other retailers.
And you have that data, right?
Yes.
Now you have the sell-through.
Yes.
You have those, like those
You have the
points
numbers.
that you can be like, I do have research and this to provide for you. So
And if they bet on me,
please.
then you definitely should, because now it's a sure bet.
100%. Yeah. Right. Especially with somebody who is a leader in the fashion community or a really fashion forward brand. All of these other dupes, if you will, are trying to come out with the same thing that they're doing. Like, they're really leading that category in women's fashion. And so
absolutely,
it's been such a blessing and such a pivotal moment in our business, where we just had insane growth, insane learning curve, insane change, insane everything. And it's been really, really chaotic and awesome, all wrapped in one cute little bundle.
I think this is like a super kind of just aha moment for me, and just listening to you tell your story. And I want to point this out, which is, even when you're giving birth, you're literally grinding so hard with work, and that is just something to be really, really proud of. So I hope you like give yourself that credit, because not many people have that, you know, just in their core of, this is me, and we're doing it, and we're gonna make it happen, and that's just really cool. So I hope you at least,
Thank you.
I'll get you Chili's. We'll go to Chili's.
Can I get guac?
She gets guac.
Yes, you can. But it's just really cool. So Free People happens, 300. How do you manage all of these orders? What are you doing? Do you have someone who's, you know, you're an account manager?
Yeah.
How are you doing this?
Just chaos. Honestly, it's just chaos, if I'm being so for real with you. We're finally at the point where we've hired a couple of people to come in and help support me. Honestly, this account has been so important to me that I have not let anybody else touch it. And it's also been something that's been really fun for me to do, and challenging and different. And so I've really enjoyed doing it, if I'm being honest. And I feel like that's something that, even as we continue to grow, these large accounts, for me, is something that I would still love to have my hand in. Like, it's really ignited this, like, almost chapter 2 of my business that I really enjoy, and I really love it. Like, I love the communication with buyers. I love designing for them. I love talking to them and having phone calls with them, and knowing from their perspective, like, what's selling, what are you seeing, what can I do, what are you looking for, like, how can we help you, right? But I do have an awesome team underneath me who helps with all of the operations and all of the, you know, the pencil to paper designs and the things like that. And so it's really just one big family affair, if I will, you know, that like this account has become kind of the whole team's like eyes and ears and hands and all the things, because it is so important, and it is such a big part of our business right now because it's going so well. So yeah, it was a lot of learning. My husband and I spent a lot of nights navigating the, like, oh my gosh, they have their own shipping routes, and we have to, how do you put what's a UPC, and how do we put a barcode on it, you know, and like packaging requirements, and like suffocation warning bags, and the things that we hadn't even crossed my mind as a consumer in a store. Now I tell people all the time that, like, this this entering into this wholesale world or this retail world has kind of ruined me as a consumer, because I walk through as something as simple as a Kohl's and I'm like, someone put that barcode on every single little da-da-da-da-da. And like, my business brain won't let me like relax and just like enjoy my Zara experience anymore, you know? I'm like, no, I'm an online shopper only, because I'm like, oh, of this, how many units do they have? And da-da-da. Like, it's ruined me a little bit.
I completely get that aspect. And I think from me, my perspective, it's like an appreciation piece of like, oh my gosh, I've seen all these brands and the work that they've put in here and the just that grind, right?
You're like, this is probably their third logo.
Right. You know? Like, think how hard they've rebranded.
They've rebranded.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Actually, it's fun because I noticed rebrands, and I've noticed yours, and they're amazing.
Thank you. We always try to be a little dramatic with our rebrands, but they're so fun, and
You're
I
amazing.
feel like it keeps people on their toes. People are always wondering like, what are we doing next? If it's as simple as a logo change or a pivot in our business or an announcement of something, like we really use those changes as like fun marketing things.
Absolutely.
And people like it.
If you love supporting women in business like I do, then you have to go check out what the ladies at Ivy City Co. are doing. They design high quality apparel for every age and every stage of life. We're talking dresses, matching outfits for the whole family, wedding wear, and more. As seen on celebrities like Serena Williams and Joanna Gaines, this brand is well loved for a reason, and they offer a wide array of sizes from newborn to women plus sizes. And they have a great discount code for our listeners. Use code WARGAMES20 to get 20% off at ivycityco.com. One more time, WARGAMES20 for 20% off your order at ivycityco.com.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say, I think the one that I've heard about the most is the deleted everything on your Instagram. Yeah. What gave you guys that idea?
Yeah, that moment when it just went dark. Lexi.
Yeah.
Say it.
No, it was really intense. So I'll kind of give a little bit of the backstory. We had been working, so for so many years we've done hair accessories, right? We've always done hair accessories. But we also, I feel like a big pillar of our business is hair accessories that help with hair health. So
scalp.
Yeah, scalp health, hair health. Okay, it's very important, everyone. And so we're always designing products that work for, really brittle, damaged hair or really, really thick hair, or we're always looking for these categories of women who have a hard time finding things. Like, what are you looking for? What can you not find, and how can we help you?
Amazing.
And how can we make it cute? Also, okay, that's like the end. That's the asterisk at the end. But we get questions all the time on like, okay, I have postpartum hair loss. What are your favorite products to use for this? Or I have really bad split ends, or I have breakage around the front of my face, or da-da-da. And we're recommending, okay, here's our towel scrunchie, here's our sleep scrunchie, here's our this, here's our, and we're recommending all these products. And we're talking about hair health all of the time. And so a couple years ago, my husband and I decided that we were going to try to look into hair care products. So shampoos, conditioners, hair oils, things like that, things that have to do with hair health. And also focusing really heavily on products that were natural and cleaner and things like that. And so we started working with chemists and things like that to develop. We decided on an everyday hair oil because especially living in Utah, our hair is so dry. Everything is so dry. And oil doesn't make it to the ends of your hair. And so we decided to focus on the ends and come out with this oil that you could use every single day. And it wouldn't make your hair greasy. It has a heat protectant. Like, it has all these amazing things, and just something that I personally as a consumer couldn't find on the market. And so we start formulating this. It takes us 2 years to formulate this perfect hair oil, okay, with a lot of bumps and ups and downs and a bajillion dollars and all the things, right? And so we knew that entering hair care space was massive for us.
Very competitive.
Yeah, very competitive. Very, very competitive. And also people are very, very picky with the products that they use in their hair. Like, you find a product at 16 that you love, you're probably going to use it until the day that you die. Like, you're loyal to the products that you love, and it's expensive and it's scary to switch to new products. And so it was a really scary investment and a really scary pivot for us while still staying in this hair accessory world. And so with it, we were really excited about it. We knew that we needed to do something big and exciting to announce this launch of this pivot in our business. And so we decided to come out with a campaign to kind of keep everyone on their toes. And our first video that we dropped was pretty much a video of me walking down a hallway, and it was just a monologue of me saying like, this has been really fun. Like, it's been a really good run, and like, thanks for everybody for being here, but like welcome to the end kind of thing. Like, welcome to the end, playing on the fact that, you know, we were focusing on the ends of your hair, and we kind of had all these Easter eggs and all these clues in this video that kind of gave people reasons to speculate and, you know, what's happening, right? And so the video ends, and I just kind of like wave at the camera and I walk away, and then we drop the video, and then we go dark on social media. We delete everything. We turn our logo black. We turn all of our highlight bubbles black. And we just go silent. And I think we stayed silent for like 4 or 5 days. Like and it was so hard. Like, our team was like bursting at the seam, you know? And people lost their minds. Did you at least go on a
vacation?
No.
Did you?
No.
Oh, you were just so excited.
We were just in the office, like, reading the comments all day long.
I would do the same thing.
No way. No way I could relax.
We're so excited.
Yeah, it was so fun. And people, whether they had been invested in my brand for years or they had just come across the video on social media or whatever, they were so invested on like, what is happening? Like, this random girl who I've maybe never met before, deleted everything that she's worked for on her Instagram, and she's alluding to the fact that like, it's over.
It's the end.
Like, what do you mean it's over?
Like, you've been doing well. What just happened?
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I know you just had a baby, but girl, like, like, you can do both, you know? Like, and the comments were insane. They were so fun to read, of people just speculating and coming out with, you know, just their own ideas of like, I saw this clue, this is what I think it means. And it was so fun. Like, I can only imagine how like a Taylor Swift feels when people are just like analyzing every word and movement and things that she says, right? Not that we were even close to that level. It was on a very local little scale, but it was still so fun for us, right? And our customers. And we drop another video a couple days later that kind of just gives more clues, right? And it's kind of a different scenery. It gives more clues. I kind of allude to the fact of like, you know, like, maybe I'm selling, maybe we're done. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is whatever. And we just kind of like let it play for a little bit longer with another video, with some more clues. And I tell them like, there's some clues in this video, XYZ, whatever. And then we go silent, we go dark for a couple days. And then finally we drop our last video, which is, just kind of like a video of our product. And, you know, this is what's coming. Like, welcome to like, you've reached the end of chapter 1, like, welcome to chapter 2 kind of thing. Anyways, it was this big marketing stunt of us changing into this part 2 of our business, and it was, I think, even more fun than our launch, if I'm being so honest with you. Like, it was just so fun to really play on this like marketing community and do something that we'd never seen done before, and just have fun with it. Like, more than anything, not take anything too seriously, and just kind of, I don't know, make it fun and enticing and different.
Which you totally do. And that's kind of like Caxie's vibe.
Thank you.
Is unexpected, you know, like chaos and fun and beauty at the same time. Okay, you have said a couple words that's like community, family. You describe your followers as family. And I feel like building that has been such a journey, and not everybody is the face of their own brand, which you are. And was that kind of like natural? Did that just come out? You were just like, I'm going to just kind of do my vibe and I'm going to put my face to this? Or was that, did you have to have a moment to think about that?
I think it was by default. If I'm being so honest, there was no one else except, it was like me or my husband, and I'm like, it's gotta be me. Like, your hair's really short.
We could try.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was just by default, and it didn't necessarily come naturally at the beginning. It was just something that became very learned and very second nature. And like I said, when I started, I had all the time in the world. I had no responsibilities, really. I had nothing. Like, I could be on my phone. I could show what I was doing. I could, you know, be very present with my community, which I'm really grateful for, because I no longer can be that, but I have built that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, really.
And it is a double-edged sword, being the face of my brand. I think that I definitely, at some point, right, have to, I can't be on the Instagram all day and be the back end and be the executive and be the boss and be the this and be all of that. But I do feel like my consumers and my customers and my followers have grown with me. We've kind of grown up together in a sense. I feel like at my initial launch, a lot of my customers were my same age, my same demographic, my same everything. And we've kind of grown up together. So I know that, like, if I'm not showing up right on social media or in my marketing campaign or in my photo shoots or whatever, my best customers probably are busy with their kids too. So like, they're not as worried about it either. And as we've grown, obviously that has changed, but it's not as intense as it once was. But I am grateful for the time that I did have because I did put in a lot of just like one-on-one time, whether that was on social media or at events or doing every pop-up shop we could think of or trying to be at every place we could do. And every weekend we were somewhere, you know, like we'd work our 9 to 5 and then we'd work at night with Caxi, and then on the weekends we'd go do a pop-up shop down in Tooele. You know, like we were just everywhere. We were trying to reach as many people as we could and have as many one-on-one interactions as we could. And we don't do very many of those anymore, but the ones that we do, I'm there and I want to be there, and they're so fun for me because I see a lot of the people that have been with me for years.
Yeah. Well, and as a founder, I feel like you start out with, it's you are wearing all of the hats and you have to figure it out. And then as you start hiring people, there's got to be pieces that you're kind of like, ugh, I don't want to let that go. I mean, you said like you control and you oversee the Free People account right now. And there's probably still pieces where you're like, it's just got to be me still.
Let it go.
I can't let it go.
Yeah, for sure. And there are some things, but I think also as I've grown and as we've taken on more responsibility and more workload, there's things that I have let go that I never thought I would, and I'm okay with it. I'm like, see you later. Never, you know,
That's
like
awesome.
things like the Instagram, right? Because I'm like, these are my friends, these are my customers, these are my people, these are this is my lifeline to my literal like mortgage, you know, like I want to be in control of it. And I'm now at the point where I'm like, I have so many amazing people that can do probably a better job than I can, you know? So it's time to give it up because this is more important now. And you just have to pivot. You can't, that's one thing in business is you have to pivot every single day. You can't stay, if you're stagnant and you're doing the same thing, there's probably not very much growth. And so it's good to be uncomfortable. It's good to give up control. Yeah. And I'm learning that as we go.
I think it's a hard thing to learn for sure. And that trust piece of like, this is literally my baby, right? And I wanted to ask just before we're out of time too, there's been so much said today of just like the grind. Yeah. How do you find that balance? Like you and your husband have done this, right? And now you guys have a beautiful baby. Yeah. How do you find that balance for you, your family, your company, all of it?
Yeah, it's hard. I feel like it's an ongoing thing. And I am the first to admit that I have not perfected it, and it is something that I struggle with. But for me, the most helpful thing has been just having a schedule. Like I have to have like I am in office this day through this day from this time to this time. And when I'm there, I'm there. And when I'm home, I'm home. And I physically have to make that shift. I physically have to have that schedule for me to really check in into one and check out of the other. And not to say that it's completely possible to check completely into one and completely out of the other. But for me, having that schedule is the best thing that's happened. And I'm really fortunate to have a lot of support and a lot of family and a lot of help and an incredible husband who also has the same kind of drive or the same kind of desire. So like it's never a contention thing in our relationship when, you know, I have to work all day and then I'm home from here to bedtime and then I need to hop back on. Like I have emails, I have I have something.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate that he's like, that's okay, because I do too, you know? And so it's become a really, really fluid schedule, but one that when I'm home with my baby in specific, like I'm home, my phone's away, we're spending time as a family, and that's been the only thing that's helped me semi-achieve any sort of balance in my life.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's absolutely amazing. If there is any brand out there who has an idea, what is the one thing, and I feel like we've kind of said it, but I feel like I want to hear how you say it, that you would tell them to do? Like what
like a brand that hasn't started or a brand that just has an idea?
Maybe both.
Yeah. Okay. Both. I think that you probably know what I'm going to say, but it honestly is just start. Like it will never be perfect. It will never, I can literally promise you this, you will change it anyways. Things will change anyways. You will rebrand, you will redo, you're going to do it anyway. So don't spend all the time making it perfect when I can promise you, even if you don't believe me, like you're going to redo it anyways. Or you're going to change it somehow or go back and realize it wasn't as good, because you're going to get actual real life data and actual real life consumers and customers. And that's more valuable to me than literally anything else. And so you just have to start. You literally just have to start. And also for somebody that maybe wants to try something unconventional in their business that started, or you're wanting to do something different that's never been done before, or it doesn't follow the marketing rules that I break every day, I guess. you never know what can come from it, and people probably haven't done it before because they're scared or because no one's had that idea. And so I just like, you just have to try it.
Just try
the
it.
worst thing that can happen is that it doesn't work and you move on to something that does. And so I don't know, I'm just a huge advocate for, you just gotta do it. You just gotta try.
That. Well, you're so positive, and I feel like, on a note of positivity, who would be the brand that you're like waiting for this?
Ooh.
You know,
Oh yeah, who's your
we
favorite?
need to speak that into existence.
Yeah,
on this
we
podcast
should.
right
Let's
now.
manifest it.
Yes.
The really probably like the bougie side of me wants to hit that Nordstrom.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the bougie side of me. The business side of me wants the Target.
Okay. That's a really good distinction, actually. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like having two different maybe lines and going into both would be
Some of the smartest brands
Wonderful.
have a product for
Both.
different retailers.
100%.
So you're spot on
Yeah.
with that thought process, right? Of like, this one's perfect for this and this
Yeah.
one's perfect for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gonna happen.
It
Catch
is.
me next year.
Yes.
I love this. So those are the two. Those are the wish list.
Yeah, I think that's next. I think that's like a really, if I was to talk of like the next one, what's the next one that you want? I think that's the next one. There's probably one after that, but
Yeah. There's hopefully
That's
there's going
the
to be
ladder.
another one after that.
we're gonna
Yeah.
take
Okay.
the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I absolutely can see those coming.
Thank you.
What is your personal favorite product of yours?
Oh my gosh, that's like asking me to pick a favorite child.
Yeah.
We have so many. We probably, in my lifetime of Caxi, we've probably come out with tens of thousands of products, and I'm not even kidding. Like we do
Incredible.
launches all the time. We're constantly designing. We're constantly innovating. Currently, right now, can I say two?
Please.
can.
Yeah. Well, and
My
it's hard
first-
because the one you use every day, right? Looking at your
Yeah.
products and what you use and stuff. It's, what's every day versus
Yeah.
your favorite.
Okay. Obviously, I love my hair oil. I'm obsessed with it. I use it twice a day. I think it smells delicious. I just love it. I'm so proud of it. I really feel like it works for so many hair types. I've seen so much difference in my hair and the people around me that have used it. Like, I just love it. I just am so proud of it, and I love it. But the product that I use the most every single day, because my hair is back, like it's not down very often, is our Hold Everything Claw. We've never found a girl whose hair it can't fit. And it's just been a product that has changed my business, and it's one that I really, really am so confidently can stand here and be like, if you have the thickest of thick hair or the thinnest of thin, like I have a product for you that's going to stay all day. And I love it because it just rings so true in my life of like, I got to get my hair back and I got to get some stuff done. Like I got to go to work. I've got a baby. We have chickens. Like regardless of what I'm doing, like my hair's got to be back. I don't have time for it.
Yes.
And so just as women, I know that that's so true regardless of your role or your stage of life or wherever you're at. And it's just such a weird thing of like that we deal with. Think about that.
yeah.
You like,
Oh, yeah. How do I pull it back today?
Exactly. Like I gotta get my hair back, or it's in my face, or it's bugging me, or whatever. It's kind of like a weird barrier that keeps you sometimes from like getting the things done that you need to do. And so it's a fun, like, I don't know, a product for me that has more meaning than just like a claw.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
you made it, and it's something that's
Yeah.
going to make your day better because you can
100%.
kind of be who you need to be in the moment.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Couldn't
I
have said
love
it better myself.
I love it.
You
and
said
it works
all
for
that.
everybody. You did say that.
Yeah. No, that was beautiful.
Well, I want to ask this. What's next on farm? Chickens.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, besides the chickens, what's next?
I want a cow so bad.
A Highland cow? Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to get one of those.
Yeah.
But
We can talk about this forever. No, we just recently started our little homestead,
Yes.
our little chickens, and it's just so fun. It's a fun little outlet for me and my family, and we go out in the backyard with our little boy, and it's just been really fun.
Does he feed the chickens?
Oh, yeah.
Does he? I love this.
Oh, he chases them, he
Yes.
feeds them.
Has he caught one?
Not yet. They're too
Okay,
fast.
they're fast. I was curious.
He's
I
a
was
chubby
like-
little guy. He's not too fast quite yet. But yeah, it's been so fun.
Those will be really fun memories
Yeah.
as he just gets bigger and catches
Yeah,
them. I'm
I
excited to
agree.
hear these
Yeah,
stories.
yeah.
one day.
Literally. Same.
well, I assume what's next for Caxi is still in the hair care line.
Yeah.
Can you tease anything?
Yes, I can. We are working on multiple
Okay.
different hair care products right now. We're working on a duo of like a dry shampoo and then a mystery product that will go hand in hand.
Amazing.
And it's really amazing, and I'm really excited for it. It'll be months before it comes out, but
okay.
if somebody listens, then you'll know.
Yeah. Is this the same signature scent? Are we keeping with the...
Okay.
Yes. It's very
That was
good.
a good tease. I'm so excited.
It's really good.
I'm
really, really excited about it.
Oh, yay.
We test it for probably too long. This is one area that I'm not like, okay, yeah, it's great. Let's go, you know? Because my husband's a little bit more involved. He's like, no, let's take our time. I'm like, okay.
Well, and I think it's a different arena, right?
It is.
Like but it's the same because you've always had that hair care in mind with all of your products, right? Like, how do you take care of your hair? How do you make it easier? All of that is just so the beauty and the chaos of hair, right?
Chaos.
Like,
It's chaos. And everyone's is so different too. And so it's been really fun to like take these products that we're developing and hand them out to all of my employees and all of my family and be like, give me some really honest feedback. Like, my mom has crazy curly dry hair and my sister has really long thick hair, and you know, like just different hair types of like, give us some real feedback. Like, what do women really want? Like, what's really working, you know?
Right.
So it's been fun to kind of dive into an area or a category of business that is really unknown. Like, do you really know who's testing the Pantene? Do you really know who's testing the, you know, like, did anybody really test it, or did it just smell good? You know, like, it's very interesting to really dive into this side of the business and this side of manufacturing, if you will, of how much testing goes in, but how much real testing goes in, if that makes sense.
No.
Absolutely. You're amazing.
Thank
You're
you.
doing such incredible things.
you.
I'm pumped for what is next.
Thank you.
And I feel like
Oh, I'm going to be
about
watching.
it. I'm
Same.
Like, I'm so excited.
I'm sporting my Caxi clips
My
today.
girl. My girl.
All of my family members have them.
You guys are the best.
From
so
her warehouse
amazing.
sales that are also amazing.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Put a
That's
plug
so
there.
nice of
I
you
love
guys.
that.
Thank you so much.
Well, this has been so fun.
Yeah,
thank you, Lexi,
It's
for
been so
coming on.
fun.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
you.
And we're excited to see what you do next.
And
go.
where should people find you?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at kaxi.co, KAXI.co, or shopkaxi.com. That's where you can buy our products.
Okay, perfect. Well,
Thank you.
go buy it all.
Go get them.
Thanks, everyone.
Maximize your sales team's potential with Volcanic Retail University. Our courses cover everything from foundational retail knowledge to advanced strategies for established brands. Go to university.volcanicretail.io and use code RWG for 30% off.